clearing in the case, Bengal was on the streets again, demanding justice for Abhay. The doctor's parents, who also attended the demonstration on Sunday, asked people to support them in their fight for the truth. And on Monday, the Supreme Court has expressed serious concern. This over the absence of a document relating to the transfer of body of the lady doctor for post-mortem. It has asked the CBI to find out the reason for this. Moreover, the CBI's medical report presented by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has classified the death as homicidal and confirmed evidence of sexual assault. The Supreme Court has ordered the immediate removal of the victim's photographs from social media. The Apex Court has also questioned the delay in filing the FIR. And it has pulled up the West Bengal government on the steps taken by the administration to ensure the safety of doctors and paramedics. Meanwhile, the BJP has demanded that Mamata Banerjee should step down as the Chief Minister. Kolkata Police Commissioner should be removed, and the call records of Mamata Banerjee, the Kolkata Police Commissioner, and the former principal of RG Medical College, Sandip Ghosh, should be made public. Why is justice eluding Abhay? We'll be digging deeper into that in just a bit. But it's September 9th. Exactly a month ago, the 31-year-old junior doctor was brutally raped and murdered in Kolkata's RG Medical College and Hospital. And for this 1 month, the people of Bengal have risen up against the state administration for inaction. Why has the state been under constant scrutiny ever since the horrific incident happened? Let's also find out. From opposition to activists and protesting doctors, all have called for Chief Minister's resignation. This over a shoddy response and probe. Last week itself, parents made a big allegation of bribe being offered by the Kolkata police for hurried cremation, and it also put the state government once again in the dock. There are voices within the party questioning the ruling government itself. TMC MP Jawahar Sircar has also been claiming of a lack of proper action by the state. He is in fact one of the latest ones to voice their dissent within the party. He is standing with the protesters in solidarity. In every hearing, the state government has had to come under the Supreme Court, which has been wrapping them for the delay in filing of the FIR and how it has failed to comprehend a mob of 7,000 was set to in fact even vandalize the hospital premises on the eve of independence when Bengal was witnessing Reclaim the Night protests. These questions remain unanswered. The state has also come under the top court's ire on its constant shield towards Sandip Ghosh, the former principal of the RG Medical College and Hospital. Only recently did the state suspend him after the Supreme Court rap. The memory of him being rehabilitated moments after his resignation was a clear indication of the clout he continues to enjoy. But the CBI told the Supreme Court is also something that we have delved in. CNN News 18 has also accessed sensational details, and these are all those details as the CBI has sourced. These sources have told us that they are probing new leads that have emerged in the entire case. The CBI sources have also said that they are looking at leads in destruction of evidence charge. The scanner is again back on former Principal Sandip Ghosh and the hospital administration. The CBI is probing if Sandip Ghosh misled the sequence of the entire events. Why is the CBI even making an allegation that Ghosh is trying to mislead? Let's also bring out all those points for you. Ghosh's driver first told investigators that he received a call at 6 a.m. on 9th of August to reach the former principal's home immediately. Meanwhile, Sandip Ghosh, on the contrary, has been constantly saying that he did not even know about the entire incident till 10:20 a.m. on 9th of August. His driver knew this at 6 a.m., but he did not till 10:20 a.m. That's a big question. Isn't that a blatant lie itself? And so, on the Kolkata doctor death, since it's already a month on the RG Kar horror, justice still eludes Abhay. And why does it do so? That's a big question we are probing in just a bit.
বাংলাটাকে গ্রাস করবার জন্য পুলিশের হাত থেকে সবটাই কেড়ে নিতে চান রাজ্য সরকারকে, কেন্দ্রীয় সরকারের এর মধ্যে পুরো চক্রান্ত আছে এবং আরো কয়েকটা লেফট পার্টি দে আর অলসো ইনভলভড ইন দিস কনস্পিরেসি।
The polygraph test of the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee as well as the arrest of Mamata Banerjee could be imperative.
All right, and with that, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Mr. Gopal Agarwal, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shobnam Dey, who's a political analyst also backing the Trinamool Congress, Mr. A.P. Singh, who's a former CBI director, and Dr. Swati Maheshwari, who's an internal medicine specialist of health and wellness expert as well. In fact, I'm going to quickly ask Mr. Singh to set the tone for this debate. Mr. Singh, my question, the fact that that challan, which is to accompany the body in which you are supposed to also mention the articles that go along with the body for post-mortem. Today, it was highlighted by the Chief Justice himself that that document, which something looks like this, I don't know how clear is that, but it has close to over 8 to 9 columns. And one of the columns specifically talks about all those articles that are accompanying the body for post-mortem. That particular column was needed today when they wanted to see if the clothes of the victim was sent for post-mortem or not. That entire challan, as a CJI himself highlighted, was missing. Is this not a blunder?
Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, definitely it's a blunder. It's very important because all the items that have been seized from the accused, from the deceased, has to be taken into custody and sent for forensics. But I also saw in that in the proceedings of the Supreme Court, I saw a bit of it, and they said that there was a judicial magistrate present when the post-mortem was being done. So I presume that and it was being videographed. So I presume that everything was in order, and if it wasn't, then the CBI will definitely point all this out in its investigation. Now, as I've been repeatedly saying, that the problem with CBI is that it never comes in as the first responder. It is always these sort of cases, murder, rape, etc., always handed over to CBI after a period of time. In this case, it's 5 days. In some, it's a week.
Mr. Singh, please
it could even be a month or 6 months.
My interjection right now. But do you not think that the forensic team could not have arrived till an FIR was lodged? And that in itself has been highlighted and argued at the Supreme Court today that the forensic team could not have come and arrived because the FIR and the lodging of the FIR took so much time. We all know that the FIR was lodged at night.
No, I don't think no. Number one, yes, I agree that FIR should have been lodged immediately. I don't know what the system in Calcutta police is, but as having investigated cases in my younger days as an SP, I know that if it's a case of murder, you register an FIR immediately.
Yes,
and in this
Mr.
case
Singh,
there was no doubt because she was triangle, there was blood.
As per the new changes made in the BNSS, a forensic team cannot arrive till the FIR is lodged. Henceforth, if the FIR lodged is late and there's a delay in filing of that FIR, then the forensic team also inadvertently gets delayed.
No, I don't think so. I think that, I mean, the normal procedure would be to call the forensics immediately. You lodge an FIR, yes, that should be the correct procedure, but it doesn't mean that you don't get the forensics because you are doing paperwork. You should be immediately getting the forensic team as early as possible. I'm just
enlisting what the advocate Feroz Edulji had to argue, and I'll quote him verbatim in front of you.
Fine.
The seizure was affected from the crime scene before the FIR was registered at 11:30 p.m. This is not legally sustainable. The forensic team can visit the place only after registration of the FIR.
We are not talking about lawyers. I'm giving you the practical how it actually works.
Right.
Lawyers will keep raising all sorts of questions.
But that's why they have raised
it. I'm just telling you that you would immediately call a forensic team. You would register a case and immediately call a forensic team. That
right.
would be the practical approach to a investigation.
All right, let me now bring in Dr. Gopal Agarwal. Mr. Gopal, when you're looking at this entire challan not being part of the file that was handed to the CBI during investigation, is this also now bringing in questions of the role that Kolkata police has played so far? Because it seems that the CBI has of course not been handed over the entire challan when the report was being handed over to them for after postmortem.
Akanksha ji, we have to understand that this whole serious crime that has taken place at RG Kar Hospital in Kolkata, the crime has taken place, it's one part of the thing. The other important part is the way the West Bengal government, particularly Mamata Banerjee and her team, is trying to evade the real facts of and trying to evade the punishment that should go, the investigation that should come, the document that they have to be submitted, and the protection they were giving to the principal of the college, Sandip Ghosh. There is ample evidence. I don't think now there is any further evidence is required that Mamata government was trying to protect Sandip Ghosh. He gave his statements at point has been contradictory. You just now mentioned that he said that till 10:30 I did not know anything about the crime. He is the principal. I read the whole proceeding in the court today. The CJI asked how far is the doctor's residence, principal's residence from the hospital. They said 15-20 minutes. So till 10:30 he could not know about anything, the what management he is doing. So there is a clear-cut connivance of Sandip Ghosh, the protection that the police tried to give, the evidence they tried to evade, the evidence they did not try to
let me quickly now also.
There is that's why we are asking for Mamata Banerjee to take responsibility and resign. Crime itself is a heinous crime, and I also want to just underline that because of the protest and the outcry over the country, now at least Mamata Banerjee is coming to respond. Otherwise, still she is trying to say that it's a conspiracy of the opposition. What conspiracy when it is under your law and order that you are committed, your people have committed crime. They are, police is showing complete laxity. Why they are saying laxity? She has to answer. Why did not they?
Let me also bring in Dr. Maheshwari on that note. Important to also listen in from what the medics have to say. What is your view on the report that was submitted by the CBI, Dr. Maheshwari? The CBI has maintained that yes, this has been a case of homicide, been a sexual assault. That too has been confirmed. The fact that the evidence was also tampered is something that was raised in the court today. I'd like your thoughts on the CBI report before I quickly bring in Shabnam Day now.
No, absolutely. See, what we feel now is that this is a glaring example of travesty of women's situation in Kolkata or West Bengal for that matter right now. And it, kind of underscores the systemic problems, that the deeper systemic problems that are there, institutional failures that are there, and also a fiscal approach towards, enforcement of the existing laws, and not just limited to this. They are trying to temper the evidence, the way they have behaved for the 5 days till the time it was handed over to CBI. It clearly shows they are trying to create an environment of impunity, which kind of emboldens these perpetrators, that they can go scot-free even after such heinous crimes. Nothing is going to happen to them. And look how they have been, protecting the principal. They have been protecting their police force, who have been doing all wrong things. If you look at, they clearly are mentioning all those statutory requirements which were there before you do a postmortem, before you go for burial of such cases and all and everything. All has been flawed completely. None of the things, none of the pieces are falling in places which show that yes, there was a genuine intention to bring the culprit to book, or there was a genuine intention to bring justice to the girl who so much. So all that definitely falls onto the West Bengal government.
I think what Dr. Maheshwari, the key word that you have in fact used right now as you speak is intention. it is that very intention that is now being questioned, and that's why, Shabnam, every day or every time you and I have spoken and debated, we've day in, day out highlighted new reasons which have been shared during the investigation in terms of that only go on to indicate how there has been laxity, there's been tampering of the evidence, and which is why I began this discussion with the missing document that was the challan. What does that go on to indicate? Please don't say that it's just missing and it will be filed tomorrow, because we are not dealing with an ordinary case over here.
Akanksha, good evening. Giving me an opportunity to reiterate all the statements made by Dr. S. Maheshwari and BJP spokesman that CM has introduced a landmark bill, Aparajita bill for women and children, 2024, which is the historical bill introduced by our CM
We are
in
talking
the
about
history
the crime.
in the history of
You know,
in the history
why has
in Indian
why
history.
anybody supporting the TMC or from the TMC
CM
mastered the art of digressing
let
from
me-
the question?
let me-
I want
let me-
I want
do
your
you
response. Do you please agree or not that the missing document today indicates that the Kolkata police has not done its duty when it was supposed to transfer all the required documents while transferring the case to the CBI?
And we
Kolkata
also don't
police
know whether
already-
they
Do
submitted
you
the
admit?
document.
Do you, no, Shabnam,
Kolkata police already, let me answer, Akanksha. Kolkata, give me some time. All panelists got the
No,
time.
but you began on Abhay,
Kolkata
the entire
police
Prajita bill.
already handed over these challan to this case diary before Honorable Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court. But it has been already stated by a senior counsel, standing counsel, Mr. Kapil Siba. It has been already presented and produced before the Calcutta High Court, Honorable Chief Justice, Division Bench. Now it has been transferred to CBI, and what CBI has done, they know very well. The records recorded by judicial magistrate in the presence of all witnesses, and also parents were there. And what it is agitating,
Shabnam
that
Dey, let
there
me
is a
inform
fairness-
you that it's very much on record. During the hearing today, it was highlighted that the CBI received no such document, which is why Mr. Sibal also did not have that document. Do you not think that that in itself is a blunder, that Mr. Sibal was not carrying
No
that document?
blunder at all.
Why did Mr.
There is
Sibal
a
have?
tape of
Then tell me,
procedure
why
of
did Mr.
criminal
Sibal have that
investigation.
challan? Why did Mr.
CBI,
Sibal
their
have the
track
challan?
record.
Why
CBI
did,
track record
in
is
fact, the CGI has
very
said
poor.
that how can the document not be present? Why is it missing? This is the very question that was raised by the Honorable Chief Justice
When
of
it
India
is handed
himself.
over to
Are you
CBI,
saying that
what
the
CBI has done, we never
Mr.
come to know.
Sibal was
Kolkata
supposed to
police
carry that
already
document?
produced.
Why are you even mentioning the
We
CBI over
cannot-
here?
We
And
cannot
the question was that
get the
now
documents
if it
and
can be
produce now,
tempered
because
later
we
on.
handed over all the documents. No, the major
Akanksha ji, we
reason
have to
why they
understand
have
that
misplaced the
this is
documents.
what the TMC
Kapil
and Mamta
Sibal said
Banerjee
that I
is
do
doing.
not have the document. I'm sorry, I will try to present
would
it.
have
How
been-
will he try to
Aka-
present it now?
Akanksha ji,
Because
if it had
when
been a
it is produced
crime
before
alone,
Honorable Justice Calcutta High
this
Court
kind
Division
of
Bench,
coverage
it
and
has
the
been
No,
large-
handed
Shabnam, I
to
want to hear
CBI.
what Gopal Agarwal is saying, because the argument that you're giving me is absolutely falling flat and I need to utilize the remaining minutes. Gopal Agarwal, please.
Akanksha ji, we have to understand that it is not only the crime that has taken place, it is the cover-up like this, what Shabnam ji is doing, or at the court, what
No
the document was
cover-up,
missing.
no cover-up.
Even the Mamta Banerjee is trying to now divert by conspiracy that it's a BJP. So the whole
You are
thing,
conspiring.
the
BJP
day
and
the
CPM in both parties are
TMC
conspiring.
government
That we can
complacency
understand
into the
Bengal
crime
people.
is an important issue now. The complacency of the chief minister, the police, the RJKar principal, all together is there in this clear-cut visible that the crime has a big intentions behind, why this has taken, who was covering it. Now the coverage is very clear. Evidence was tampered with, the FIR was delayed, the documents properly for the postmortem have not been filed at the right time, whether we don't even know that document accompanied the postmortem report or not. Was it filed without, if it had been filed, it should have been part of this document. So the question, even the council had also said that the missing document shows that it can now be again tempered. So after evidence, even the in
when
the court
CBI has been handed
toilets,
over
etc.,
the
where
records,
the accused
now what
would
CBI
have
is
washed his
doing?
clothes, etc.,
Why
those
are-
whole tiles were changed. Whole
the
tiles of the
failure of
bathroom were
CBI
changed.
is
So
exposed.
this is
The failure of CBI in
people were
investigating,
allowed by the
it
police.
is
7,000 people
exposed that
were
the track
allowed by
record
the
of the
police to
CBI.
storm after the crime. So to destroy the evidence, to tamper with the
No
evidence.
destroying of evidence or tampering evidence.
Where is the
DNA
question
is there. It can be proved by
you are
DNA
not
also
answering us,
testing.
Shabnam ji.
It
You are
is
not
a
answering a
DNA
single
test.
question.
It can
What you
be
will answer,
also
even
tested.
Kapil Sibal
I am
was not
answering
able to
to the
answer several
point
questions.
that when
I
handed
will
over
file
to CBI,
tomorrow. Even
CBI
the
knows
time
very
of
well.
FIR,
That is the record.
FIR, the time of is at 11:30 p.m. The people are and the court, they are misleading them. The CJI said that you want to
Within
try to
1
mislead
day,
us on the
within 1
timing
day,
of the FIR.
the
You registered
accused
an
has been
unnatural death.
arrested. What
You
CBI is
registered an
doing? What
unnatural death.
CBI is bringing justice.
What is
What
the
CBI
shame?
is
It is
doing?
a shame
CBI
that being a
is
women,
shame
you are
to
talking like
CBI.
this.
Shabnam, I
Shame
bring
to
you in. No, the
CBI.
questions, you know why the TMC is on a sticky wicket despite that Aprajita bill, aspects of which I thoroughly respect and appreciate, and perhaps the centre needs to do more to maybe encourage the assent of that bill by the president. But having said that, why the TMC is currently in a tight spot, we all know all those reasons. But last week what we saw, those statements coming in from the parents, that in terms of how they were forced by the Kolkata police to record false statements, the fact that they were asked to sign on blank papers expecting signatures from educated, literate parents after their daughters been brutally raped and murdered. This is not travesty of justice, let me tell you. This is not just travesty of justice. This is when it is the protectors who are becoming the perpetrators themselves.
Akanksha, not at all, because parents, what
So
they
you're
are
saying that the
stating now,
parents
they
are
can
lying.
understand.
You're saying that the parents are
Parents
lying.
can file a case. They can come up with application affidavit.
You really think that they're going to file a case on this when they are still awaiting justice for their daughter?
They can bring up the application analogously by filing affidavit before Honorable Supreme Court. Larger bench is constituted for this and they can be heard of. But our CM by 1 day arrested the accused by Kolkata police, seat created but handed over to CBI by High Court, Calcutta High Court's direction. And what CBI's track record, you see, investigation need.
All right, Dr. Maheshwari, I see you want to make a point.
Yes, Akansha, what we see now here today is I think the entire nation has seen two faces of West Bengal government. One where you're trying to tamper with the evidence, where you don't see the genuinity of actions to actually bring the perpetrators to book. Secondly, you're trying to cover that up by doing dharnas, by writing to the Prime Minister or by bringing in this bill, just trying to cover up what you've done. So the actions, they speak louder than words. Had they put in the right actions together from the first day, I think they wouldn't have needed to do all this to show their cover up, to show their intentions that no, they are, with the woman and they're trying to safeguard them.
No, and I'll tell you one more thing, Dr. Maheshwari. Today, the joint platform of doctors in West Bengal has in fact released a statement urging Abhishek Banerjee to not spread misinformation, because apparently Abhishek Banerjee took to X and he's also posted about a false information in terms of how there are patients dying because they were left unattended.
Yes, patients are dying.
Yes, that's true. I know.
Patients are dying,
but that doesn't mean that you in fact go spread misinformation.
Little boy has died without treatment. Why the people at large will be suffering like this without treatment? Doctors are not treating at all. And
that is something, Shabnam ji, even the Supreme Court has taken into account and has urged doctors to return. But you cannot resort to misinformation.
No
shameless
misinformation.
behavior
That's
of the
lying. That's
it's
lying
a
by junior
shameless behavior
doctors.
of Mamta government. It's a shameless behavior of the Mamta government, that a serious crime against which the culprit or the
Shameless to Modi
accused should have
government.
been acted
Shameless to
upon. They are
Modi.
trying to
Shameless
protect
to
and
Modi.
mislead the people.
Modi should
If
resign.
this protest, etc.,
Modi
had
should
not taken
resign.
place, you
But
would
you know,
have been
Doctor,
successful in
What
your
What about
Mahesh,
cover-up
Yoginath?
of the
When a
crime.
lawyer has been raped and
we
brutally
are
murdered
standing
in
at
UP?
Dr.
Our
Maheshwari. I
lawyer
want
has
to
been
quickly
raped
bring
and
you in.
brutally
It's been
murdered.
1 month. We are talking as well, but what has been done for the doctors on the ground level? The need for a central law that, of course, remains very much to be addressed. I'd like your thoughts before I quickly take in closing thoughts from the others.
Absolutely, and that is what our main concern is. Today, the Supreme Court has directed the doctors to end their protest, and obviously, they'll follow the command that has been given by the Supreme Authority. But there is a deeper concern among doctors as to would there be a sustained efforts to bring in security for the staff that is there? Would there be societal changes? Would there be systemic changes? So that the doctors, as they move forward, as they go back to their duty and follow the work, would they be safe? Would there be any wrath to them since they'd gone on a protest for 1 month? What kind of aftermath would have for them? That is also a question mark, because you can see what kind of comments are coming in politically, against the doctors also, which is very, very concerning. We are not very sure right now, when these doctors go back to work, what kind of treatment would be meted to them as well. Would there be some kind of underlying, conspiracy against
Fair
them
enough.
also? So that is something which is very, very concerning, I think, right now for the doctors.
Gopal Agarwal, amid this blame game, what can the government at the center do now? Please tell me, why can't the Home Ministry initiate a disciplinary action against the Kolkata Police Commissioner? Why can't you do something about perhaps working towards an assent to that to the Aprajita bill, which was passed by the West Bengal Assembly? But a lot of the commitments which should perhaps also be coming in from the center are getting lost in this political blame game.
Akanksha, we have to understand that when the system or administration which is responsible for protecting and punishing the abuser or the culprit itself becomes complacent and becomes partner in the crime, then it is very difficult, because we have a federal structure in which law and order is a state subject. And the intervention from the center is a way which we are doing, whatever the Home Ministry is doing. But the thing is that
Where is the central law for
the
doctors and paramedics?
No, don't blame the center on this. It is
Central
the state government's responsibility.
Where is the central law for
partners
doctors
who are the partner
which
in the
they
crime?
made since
All right, it's very
National
unfortunate
Unity?
that the Durga Puja is going to be coming around it's very much round the corner, and perhaps even Durga must be saying that justice delayed is justice denied, and Abhaya and her parents await for justice. I think it's a time of introspection for all of us in terms of where the society has come today. Many thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in on Plain Speak. And with that, it's time for a quick break. But after the break, we'll also be probing Rahul Gandhi, as he's in the United States, slammed the BJP and the RSS during his trip. He's hailed China's employment rate as against India's. His remark has, of course, stirred the hornet's nest yet again, as the leader of opposition insulted India abroad. That's a question we'll be debating in just a bit.
Saying that in stark contrast, China does not have this kind of an unemployment issue, even though India has better skill facilities. Well, of course, it's going to stoke, and I think it's already begun to, as far as comments on China is concerned. And not just this, I mean, in the past also, when he said that China is stronger than us economically in terms of military, caliber, and also the fact that he met up with the Chinese ambassador at the time of the Galwan controversy was taking place. The BJP has begun to attack Rahul Gandhi and accused him of actually being the one who's compromising on the idea of India, on national unity and integrity, and making comments, especially when you're abroad. When you run down your own country, and I'm using the words of the BJP, according to BJP, when you run down your own country and govern on a foreign soil, you are painting a very incorrect and wrong picture about your country. And second, you only end up emboldening our enemies across the border.
RP Singh ji joining us on the broadcast. Mr. RP Singh, thank you so much for speaking to us. What would be your thought about this particular statement coming in from the leader of the opposition with regards to the unemployment challenge faced by China? China certainly is not facing any such problem with that heavy population, but India is still facing it.
Well, that clearly shows that the document which is signed with the China Communist Party of China, he still goes by that line of the line of the China, where he always praises China and demeans India. But the fact is that he doesn't know that today women are being employed under Lakpati scheme of the Prime Minister drone. Didi are being made in every village, and then technology is being used by the Prime Minister Modi's scheme where women are being employed. But that point aside, the biggest issue which he has raised, which we are missing on, is that he is saying that India is not a nation. He still, Mr. Even Sam Praduda, they are talking about that India is Union of States, as if India was has been created after 1947. The fact is, India has been a nation thousands of years, 5,000, 10,000 years, but they keep reiterating that India is Union of States, and they are not aware that the Pandals from Kerala go to Badrinath, or Pandals from Karnataka goes to Kedarnath, or Pandals from Chennai, Tamil Nadu goes to Kashi Vishwanath. Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he offered gold to Harimandir in Amritsar and also to Kashi Vishwanath. So India has been one nation throughout, but they don't accept that India has been a nation. India has been culturally one nation, and that we believe in. That the ideology of BJP is that India has been a culturally one nation. And the language which Mr. Rahul Gandhi speaks, or his fellows speak, that India is Union of States, the same language is being used by Khalistani Amritpal Singh. He also said that India is Union of States, so we as a state has a separate right to identify and decide our future course of action. So that's the problem, that they don't want India to be seen as one cultural nation.
Right, Mr. Singh. Thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 8. Well, Rahul has stoked a fresh row during his visit to the US, Dallas specifically. In a big attack at the RSS, Rahul Gandhi claimed that the RSS and BJP have hijacked the education system of India on ideological basis, and that most of the vice-chancellors indeed have a background of the RSS. He praises China, says that it is dominating the global production and has no unemployment issue in their country. He has also taken a jibe at the Devta comment. He said that Devta in India actually means a person whose internal feelings are exactly the same as his external expression, meaning he is a completely transparent being. It does not mean God. Listen in to what the leader of opposition actually said.
Welcome back. Now, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has addressed the Indian-American community in Texas on Sunday, and like most of his international visits, this time too, he has criticized the government of India. He was also critical of the RSS and emphasized love, respect and humanity and humility in politics. It was Rahul Gandhi's first interaction with the Indian diaspora after becoming the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha this year. He said that RSS believes that India is one idea, whereas he and the Congress believe that India is a multiplicity of ideas, asserting that India, the United States and other countries in the West are facing the problem of unemployment, but China is not. According to Gandhi, China is dominating global production. Mr. Gandhi underscored the need to focus on manufacturing in India as well. He said the West, America, Europe and India have given up on the idea of production and handed it to China. And that is why on Rahul Gandhi's USA visit, now that his remarks have triggered a row, is he now insulting India abroad yet again? That's a question we are going to be debating in just a bit.
I think currently a huge problem in the education system is the ideological capture. Most of our vice chancellors today are placed by the RSS. Devta in India actually means a person whose internal feelings are exactly the same as his external expression. Meaning he's a completely transparent being. Right? It does not mean God. Not everywhere on the planet has an employment problem. Okay? The West has an employment problem. India has an employment problem. But there are many countries in the world that don't really have an employment problem. China certainly doesn't have an employment problem. Vietnam doesn't have an employment problem.
राहुल गांधी अगर आप पूरी स्पीच को ऑब्जर्व करेंगे, क्योंकि उनकी चाइनीज कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया के चाइनीज कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के साथ में उनका एक सीक्रेट एमओयू है, इसीलिए हमेशा जब भारत और चीन के बारे में आती है वो चीन के साथ खड़े हुए देखते हैं, ना कि भारत के साथ। राहुल गांधी यही नहीं रुकते हैं, वो भारत के लीगल सिस्टम पे भी अटैक करते हैं क्योंकि वो बेल पे बाहर हैं। आज उन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के लोकतंत्र पे भी हमला किया है।
What Rahul Gandhi said in his lecture was absolutely right. Our universities are being completely hijacked. The curriculum is getting hijacked. The institutions are getting hijacked by one ideology, one organization.
Let me introduce our panelists today. I'm joined by Mr. Tom Vadakan, who's a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Also joining me is Mr. Sandip Yadav, who's a spokesperson for the Congress Party. Mr. Yadav, let's in fact start with how demeaning is the China analogy, because I just have some data which I'd like to share with you. In August itself, a report has clearly highlighted how unemployment in China, especially youth unemployment, because since Mr. Gandhi spoke about young, youthful, skilled labour not being promoted in India enough, 17%. That's how the unemployment in China has been rising. It was in fact till June it was up to 15.2%. What explains the rising unemployment, and what explains Rahul Gandhi's own take when he's talking about unemployment in China being so controlled compared to the West, the United States, even India?
I don't know the source of your data, but I quote the source. Spectator Index. Spectator Index says that only 7 million people are poor in China. See, first thing, world inequality.
Let me also tell you, it's known that Spectator Index is a very biased sort of platform. We've already exposed how Spectator Index comes
biased,
out.
okay?
I'm using National Bureau of Statistics for you over here. And that's very much gone on to talk about how the unemployment is on the rise. You talk about the economy, the GDP has been constantly coming down. Intel, Microsoft, Nike, Dell, Apple, they are all moving manufacturing out. At a time, India is becoming a manufacturing hub. How dare Rahul Gandhi say that it is China which is owning manufacturing?
See, listen, World Inequality Lab report, forget about China, just focus on India. World Inequality Lab report says 1% people in the country hold 40% resources of the country. And see, the Bahujans of the country, like the SC, ST and OBCs. See, their share in 2012, the report says, World Inequality Lab report says, the share of the SC, ST, OBCs, like SC, ST was 1.8% in 2012. It has increased slightly and it has gone to 2.3% in 2022. And see, the population of SC and ST is 25% roughly. And OBCs, the Mandal Commission says that they are 52%, but the people of the country say that they are somewhere near 60% of the country. So they hold 9% resource in 2022, and they earlier in 2012 they had 18% of the national wealth share. So you can just think about the situation of the majority population of the country, and see, China has 15 trillion economy. India is somewhere 3 trillion economy. The target is a 5 trillion. US holds somewhere above 20 trillion, 24 trillion economy. United States, and the population of United States of America
Tom Vadakan, at a time we are talking about how India's GDP is only on the rise compared to how we've seen there's this nosedive in the GDP of China. How much of that argument in fact holds any kind of ground with you?
No, China.
I want to bring Mr. Vadakan in now. I've given you time to speak. Mr.
Let
Yadav,
me complete that. You said that.
We have to quickly wrap up also. I have.
Just let me.
No, you can't take.
Yes, Mr. Yadav, you've made your point, and I have taken your point. Let Mr. Vadakan also come in.
Akansha, I think there is an issue which I think the Congress party is struggling with. The MOU that was signed in August 2008 with China seems to be heading for a situation where the LOP of India is now in conflict of interest in sense, he is now projecting himself as the brand ambassador for China. Interestingly, you brought this statistics out. The figure that I have is 21% of youth is unemployed in China. And this comes not from any vague magazine, it comes from the Wall Street Journal. And let me also tell you that 10 Janpat subscribes to the Wall Street Journal and they have access to all information. I wish the LOP had done his homework before going and making such statements. 5.10 is supposedly the unemployment figure that is with China. Now the reality is,
Sandip Yadav, do you agree or not? Right, Mr. Barakan, I just want to take an acknowledgement of a fact from Mr. Sandip Yadav. Do you agree or not that it was during the UPA era in 2011 to 2012 that China took over from UAE as India's largest trading partner?
So they may have taken over the largest partner from India, but that's not a matter.
No, Rahul that Gandhi is a matter. That is a matter because that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Just listen. He's saying that, he's quoting the data at in the unemployment rate in China, but he doesn't talk about unemployment rate in India. Yesterday, a person in India sold his son to somebody to just pay the bill of the hospital to release his wife, get his wife released from the hospital. Only 4,000 rupees. He didn't have any money to pay. So he sold his son in 20,000 rupees. That is the state of affairs in India. That is the state of affairs in India.
If I could bring you in on that, the state of affairs.
You do not.
All right, Sandip Yadav, let me also
80%
listen.
80% people of India, they earn less than $4 in the country, in India. 80% people, they are leading their life in less than $4 per day. Got such a huge inequality. I just quoted World Inequality Lab report. Do you have counter to that? And I don't bother about China manufacturing unit, whether they are doing well or not. That is altogether a different matter. But what is the state of affairs of India?
I'm quoting World Bank data. I'm quoting you World Bank data, and that also goes on to talk about.
Rahul Gandhi also said that academic institutions have been hijacked by RSS and BJP.
So are you saying that World Bank has also been hijacked by RSS?
Listen to me.
Are you saying I'm quoting World Bank data?
How many SPSP and
if you
OBC
may
vice chancellors?
listen to some information, it may benefit you during similar discussions in the future. World Bank data says that India's GDP stands at 7.6% in 2023, whereas China stands at 5.2%. I rest my case. Tom Vadakan, please go ahead.
You can rest any case, but
Tom Vadakan, please go ahead and make your point.
The SBI is giving data, religious
I'm talking about World Bank. It has nothing to do with SBI. Tom Vadakan, please. All right, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Tom Vadakan, but I'd also like to know why. All right, Mr. Vadakan, if I could bring you in on India's economic failures that have been highlighted right now by Sandip Yadav and the Honorable Leader of Opposition in the United States.
It's a sad commentary that the LOP, who is supposed to be representing India, goes and denigrates India. He talks about various issues. The fact of the China statistics that he presented, it came down to a such situation that he exposed himself. He talks about the planet and that that and other places have a problem, and China is flourishing. What kind of logic is this man? Either he is LOP or he is brand ambassador for China. Let him settle down on that issue. Various issues he talked about. This gentleman talks about infiltration of RSS. Hello, I have been the chairman of
I wonder
bodies.
You don't question the Prime Minister.
No, just listen to me now. I have been the chairman of governing bodies. I know how much Congress and leftists have joined the academics. They're completely controlled by leftists, by congressmen. Congressmen gave them a free rein, and this is the reality. And if some people are coming in, missions with merit, you call them RSS?
Yadav,
Can you do that?
I
No.
want to quickly bring in Sandeep Yadav on the RSS aspect also. Some very interesting comments made by the LOP over there also. Why does he think that the RSS is against the idea of women working outside the domestic sphere?
Because RSS supports Manusmriti. RSS says that, the head of RSS, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, they are going to complete their 100 years on 26th of this September 2024. So, Mohan Bhagwat said in 2013, he said that the women, they are influenced by the Western culture and they should not be allowed to,
All right, interjection, Sandeep Yadav, just because he
Let me
opines, if Mohan Bhagwat says that we are against the ideologies or the feminism that is promoted in the West, does that mean that he's against the idea of women empowerment in his country?
No, you read Manusmriti. What Manusmriti
I have.
says?
I have. Let me tell you that.
You must have read. You must have read.
And let me also tell you, please, let's not digress about Manusmriti. I'm sure they are upholding certain values.
Because the RSS is the organization which supports Manusmriti. It said that they initially opposed the Constitution of India. They were they didn't agree with the Constitution of India. They said that we want a constitution based on our own traditional Manusmriti and all the laws. And Manusmriti is considered as a regressive text, and it's a text which denigrate. It's a misogynistic Indian text. It denigrates women. It denigrates women, and
okay, so Tom Vadakan, if you oppose feminism of the West, does that make you anti-women? Let me also bring you in. Important to highlight.
Kabir said.
Right now, I need to stick to facts. I don't have time for Kabir's dohas right now. But Mr. Vadakan, I want you to also highlight all those programs that the RSS is running right now, which are about empowering women. There is Mahila Samanvay, there's a lot.
The point.
Let me bring in the other panelist.
I mean,
this
is not
you gave him
correct,
time,
Anna.
no?
I gave you time, Mr. Yadav. I gave you time.
Madam, our Prime Minister
I'm not
went to
madam,
Muslim
I am
country.
Akanksha Swaroop. I'd like you to refer to my name.
Akanksha,
Mr. Vadakan, please go ahead, make your point.
Yeah.
Akanksha, our Prime Minister went to a Muslim country. He said that the Muslims of the world are changing. And the next day, the CM of Assam...
I am talking about RSS being touted as anti-women. Please do not digress. I'm talking about why are you calling RSS anti-women. Let me hear what Mr. Vadakan has to say. Mr. Vadakan, please highlight why RSS, there's a big charge coming in that RSS is anti-women.
What the LOP doesn't know is that RSS has a Rashtriya Sevak Samiti. This is women who are involved in social work, are not exposed to the cameras that Rahul Gandhi expects them to be. They are professionals serving this country. They are part of it, part of empowerment. He about RSS chief. RSS chief is one of the chief persons who's been empowering women. You're right when you said it is not about the Western feminism we are talking about. We are talking about Indian conditions and the positions that women have been there. They are careerists. We have promoted them. Now, BJP, for example, the Ujjwala scheme, the working women's
I asked
Beti
Mr.
Bachao,
Vadakan,
Beti Padhao, and now, well, let me complete. Have some civil behavior.
And
if you
without
don't have
consent-
a civil behavior, don't come for a debate. Don't come for a debate without being civil. You are in the channel by doing this kind of debate. And now let me add to you, your LOP is presenting half-baked ideas. He talks about Devatas, for example. And what is the explanation? Does he know what he is talking about? He is giving an explanation which doesn't exist anywhere. He is creating his own arguments. Then he talks about what? He talks about Lord Shiva. And what is his definition of Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva destroys himself. My God, I'm a Christian, shocked by this kind of explanation that the LOP of India is going and
I'm going to have to
presenting
wrap
to the West.
up with that. I'm sure, I think I would also like to quote what Mohan Bhagwat had to say in 2022. He's gone on to talk about Until women's equal participation in the workforce is ensured, efforts aimed at the progress of the country will not be successful. There are many schemes also which are running, and perhaps it would be good to have a look at them, maybe debate whether more can be done or not, yes, but to say that RSS is anti-women, that in fact requires certainly something to in fact sit up, take notice of, and even question what we go and in what light we go out and present our country abroad. Many thanks to you, Sandip Yadav, and of course Mr. Farakhan for joining in. Now, also at a time when the Indian Railways and the probing agencies are investigating multiple sabotage attempts to derail trains, another case of a train derailment attempt has come to light from Uttar Pradesh. A major train accident of Kalindi Express, which was travelling on the Anwarganj-Kasganj route in Kanpur, was averted after the loco pilot applied an emergency brake. As per the reports, a deliberate attempt was made to derail the Kalindi Express by placing a gas cylinder en route. However, the accident was averted after the pilot heard the suspicious sound of the cylinder hitting the train. He happened to immediately apply the emergency brake in between the Barajpur and Bilhor region, seizing the train movement. Let's try and get in a sense of GM of the Indian Railways, also the creator of Train 18 and Vande Bharat Express. Many thanks to you, Mr. Mani, for joining in. First of all, the most basic question that comes to mind: what can the Indian Railway do to avert such accidents, especially considering that terror angles so far are being ruled out?
Okay, so there have been recently, in recent months, and earlier also, but more so in recent months, cases of obstructions being placed on the track, stones, not very boulders, stones, steel spikes, and in this case, a cylinder. Now, this could be a case of a conspiracy or could be a case of localized, troublemakers, some ruffians at individual level, not a conspiracy. It's a matter which only security agencies can investigate. So I will not like to comment on that. They are doing their investigation. Even in previous cases, we have still not learned whether it was a case of sabotage or was it case of an individual shaitani, if I would say that. Now, what can railways do? You see, it's a vast network and it passes through heavily populated areas, unprotected. Railways can do patrolling, and that patrolling is done by gangmen. It can also be done by RPF, but that can only be to give a sense that railways are alive, but it cannot really prevent if there is an attempt to deliberately place obstructions and derail a train. So it can be solved. If it is happening, it can be solved through intelligence and criminal investigation, which is a question of law and order and not really railways domain. Railways can really help in it, but I would say that it's a job of the security agencies. There is also news in social media, I don't know how true it is, that Pakistan-based terrorists have also given their sleeper cells the directive to try to derail trains. So
and that's why I want to bring you in, Mr. Mani. You've been somebody who's created these trains like Train 18 and Vande Bharat Express at a time when we are talking about revamping the Indian Railways. We are also living in the times of AI. How can AI come to our rescue in situations like these when you're talking about greater vigilance of the railway tracks?
So as I said, you can improve the patrolling level. You can tell the staff involved, crew, for example, to be more cautious. But that in itself cannot prevent an accident if somebody is deliberately trying to place an obstruction. Let me be clear on that. Because at that speed, say 130 kilometers per hour, and it's an object large enough to derail a train, cannot be seen from far. So I don't think that it's something that railways can alone do something about. But let me also tell you something. There is a tendency today of railway officials to, even before investigation begins, to claim that the accident took place because of a sabotage. And none of the cases sabotage has been established. You start from Balasore. There was a mosque nearby and the news went around that because of that it happened. Then in Gonda, They said that there was a loud sound that the driver heard, and later there was no such thing. Actually, these were all cases which happened because of railways fault.
Also, Kavach system, that also many in the railways have also highlighted how the Kavach is not being actively implemented as it should be.
So if we come to the subject of safety, not sabotage as such, what you're saying is correct. Railways have decided 3 years back, after a lot of experimentation, that they will not go for an imported system, they will go for Kavach. So since they have established this reliability, so I'm assuming that they have established the reliability of Kavach system. So the rollout should be much, much faster than it has been. There's no doubt about it. Rollout has been, actually there is not a single kilometer which has been added in last 3 years. So that performance is not at all good. It should be done. And you talked of AI. AI can be used to improve safety in a massive manner, because there's a lot
I'm
of
afraid
data.
I'll have to leave it at that, but thank you for highlighting those very crucial aspects of railway security. Many thanks to you, Mr. Mani, for bringing in all those precious insights to Plain Speak. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching. Up next is the Hard Facts with Rahul Shivshak.
Believes that India is one idea. And we believe that India is a multiplicity of ideas. We believe that everybody should be allowed to participate. We believe that everybody should be allowed to dream. Everybody should be given space, regardless of their caste, language, religion, tradition, history. This is the fight. And the fight was crystallized in the election, when millions of people in India clearly understood that the Prime Minister of India is attacking the Constitution of India.
Gandhi and the Congress party have made it clear that their only objective is to spread falsehood against India. Their objective is divide and rule, and their loyalties lie with China because of the secret MOU that the Congress party had with the Communist Party of China. The world is aware that how China is facing a youth unemployment crisis and India is emerging as a global manufacturing hub. Rahul does not stop here. He predicts social tensions in India because the Congress party might be planning something big in its strategy of dividing communities in India. He attacks the Indian judicial system and the legal system just because he's out on bail, and he attacks the Hindu Sanatan concept of Devta. This has made it clear that Rahul Gandhi and the entire India alliance, in order for their attempt to grab power, can go to any extent to damage Bharat. They were rejected in 2014, they were rejected in 2019, and they were rejected in 2024, and they will be rejected in 2029. Rahul's speech is against everything that India and Bharat stands for.
So Devta in India actually means a person whose internal feelings are exactly the same as his external expression. Meaning he's a completely transparent being. Right? It does not mean God. So if this person tells me every single thing that he believes or he thinks, and he tells it to me, that's the definition of Devta. So to me, that is interesting about our politics. How do you suppress your own ideas? Right? How do you suppress your own fear, or how do you suppress your own greed, or how do you suppress your own ambition?
Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is joining us live on the broadcast. Pallavi, a very good morning to you. This Rahul Gandhi and his connection with China has been much debated already, with BJP continuously mounting an attack on him. This time around, this new comment coming in over the unemployment challenge in China and in India has given us an added on, sort of point for the BJP to mount an attack on the leader of the opposition.
That's right, Sakshi, because, he was especially talking to students in Dallas, and he was talking in the context of skills, he was talking in the context of education. And that's when he made that comparison to China, saying that in stark contrast, China does not have this kind of an unemployment issue, even though India has better skill facilities. Well, of course, it's going to stoke, and I think it's already begun to, as far as comments on China is concerned. And not just this, I mean, in the past also, when he said that China is stronger than us economically in terms of military, caliber, and also the fact that he met up with the Chinese ambassador at the time of the Galwan controversy was taking place. The BJP has begun to attack Rahul Gandhi and accused him of actually being the one who's compromising on the idea of India, on national unity and integrity, and making comments, especially when you're abroad. When you run down your own country, and I'm using the words of the BJP, according to BJP, when you run down your own country and govern on a foreign soil, you are, one, painting a very incorrect and wrong picture about your country. And second, you only end up emboldening our enemies across the border.
RP Singh ji joining us on the broadcast. Mr. RP Singh, thank you so much for speaking to us. What would be your thought about this particular statement?
Viewers, we are getting used to Rahul Gandhi's soliloquies on the situation back home, as they say, when he travels to foreign countries. There's something about the air in these distant lands that brings out the thinker in the Congress sign. Perhaps it's the lack of pollution that allows for clear-headed reflection. And so Rahul Gandhi has obliged us once again. And why not? After all, even his mentor, Sam Pitroda, the chief of the Overseas Congress, who puts on these foreign junkets for his favorite protege, says that Rahul is not a pappu. And as if on cue, and possibly to indulge his mentor, Rahul Gandhi gave us an impromptu demonstration of his well-informed erudition, his well-honed erudition.